Okay, so my first impressions of this computer is that the midnight color looks amazing. It's my new favorite color for a MacBook by far. Has this nice deep blue in certain lighting, and then another lighting, if I kind of wedge down the MacBook a bit, it does kind of give off more of a blacker tone. I think it looks really nice, and the new edge-to-edge display that they have here with the notch is a welcome addition. It looks like a really miniature M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro. Like, this thing looks fantastic. First impressions of the display as well is that it looks pretty good. Like, the colors are rich and vibrant. It does look noticeably brighter than the M1 MacBook Air, which makes a lot of sense because this actually has 100 nits more brightness than that laptop. The one thing I was reading online about this laptop, though, are the fingerprints. When I kind of glide my fingers on there, you can see the fingerprints sort of come on and they kind of stay there. Not a big fan of that already, but I think the color looks great, so I'm okay to put up with that for now. Quick side note, I am a big fan of the braided cable. It's color matched to the M2 MacBook Air, and I really like that they specifically highlighted the USB-C port to be white. It's just a nice sense of style. It's the little things that I really like that Apple does with their computers. My first impressions of the keyboard is that it does feel a little bit different compared to the M2 MacBook Air. If I kind of grab that here, it just feels ever so slightly different. It's not a huge deal. While this computer is set up, while I look at the M2 MacBook Air and the M1 MacBook Air side by side, like, I can't believe Apple is able to pull off making this new laptop look even thinner. Like, in person, this is noticeably smaller than the M1 MacBook Air. It's wow, they did a good job here. Another note about the display is that when I really go back from the MacBook Air to this M2 MacBook Air, like, having the bezels really pushed up to the side make a huge difference. Like, when I give you a top-down view of this laptop here versus the MacBook Air here, it makes a big difference. Like, it really does at the end of the day. It just looks more modern, more aesthetic, and I can't even imagine myself now going back to the M1 MacBook Air from a design perspective. I really love the new display. It noticeably does look better than the Air. Not a big margin, but I can tell the colors are richer because it does have new display technology built into here as well. When I put this display beside the 14-inch MacBook Pro, the bezels on the MacBook Air are slightly thicker than the ones on the 14-inch when it comes to the edge-to-edge display, but not a big deal. I still think the M2 MacBook Air display looks amazing. All right, so that's enough about the display. I actually want to get into how I plan on using this computer. First thing, which is going to be listening to music. I know that there's brand new speakers built into this laptop, so I want to test out and see how good the speakers are. No. Okay, so immediate first impressions of the speakers that they sound really rich. It sounds like an actual improvement over the M1 MacBook Air, and I just want to test that out. Okay, so it's clear to me that the M2 MacBook Air has much better speakers, noticeably fuller, they sound richer, which is awesome because I like to listen to music off of my laptop. Okay, so now we're on the webcam and microphone on the M2 MacBook Air. Let me know what this looks and sounds like to you. Apple did upgrade to 1080p webcams. There's a brand new 3 mic array that Apple is advertising on this laptop. It looks good to me, but I won't really know what this sounds like till I post this video. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is this a noticeable upgrade from Apple, and does this sound good, and does it pass the test to use on FaceTime and all of those things? I also plan to watch a lot of movies on my MacBook Air, and I want to just see what it's like to watch Stranger Things Season 4 with these speakers and the new display.
How do you like that?
Okay, so immediate impressions with watching this. The colors are great. Like Apple never really messes up the displays, but the speakers. So the speakers do support Dolby Atmos, and you can actually you can hear it subtly. It works well. Not as good as the the M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro. I think these still have better speakers, and it's more obvious of the spatial audio, but you can hear it with an M2 MacBook Air. It's there. You can hear the separation of the audio between both of your ears, and that type of stereo and audio separation is non-existent on the M1 MacBook Air. So just from like a real-world perspective, like if you enjoy watching Netflix and Disney Plus, the audio experience is actually better, and it's something that I'm very happy to see and test out in this video. So something else that I plan to do with this laptop is lots and lots of typing. Like all the content that you see on this channel requires a lot of planning and script making and all of those things. So I want to test out and just see how great this laptop is for typing. This is a typing test so you can kind of hear it for yourself. Okay, so just immediate impressions of typing. 2 thumbs up. It's great. Like Apple has finally made decent keyboards in the last couple of years, and it's no different here on the M2 MacBook Air. I think it feels good. Key travel's great. I can imagine myself typing on this computer for a long time. One thing I want to note though is that the fingerprints are already getting all over the design of this laptop. So if you don't like fingerprints on your computer, you might want to avoid the midnight color, although I think the midnight color looks awesome. So again, I'm probably gonna stick it through here and just clean it every day because this thing is beautiful. So one thing I will say about this laptop is I actually don't plan on doing any video editing or photo editing on here. Maybe very, very light stuff with Final Cut Pro, but I'll do more of that testing in my final review. A lot of that stuff will actually be done on the M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro. So, you know, I bought the base model M2 MacBook Air. I'm very happy with it. I know there was some stuff out there about people saying that this model has a slower SSD, or that you know, you should get 512 gigs of SSD, maybe even upgrade the RAM. But I'm kind of in the boat of, if you're going to buy the M2 MacBook Air, I wouldn't really do too many upgrades here. Just really be intentional about why you're buying this laptop. For me, it's for consumption, creating content with the keyboard and just using word processing, and just enjoying videos, enjoying the speakers, and just having a portable laptop that I can bring with me in my bag on a moment's notice. Any like heavy video editing or photo editing, you know, I think the M2 machine isn't it. You might as well pay for the upgrades to get to the 14-inch model, or even just save your money. Like if you can only buy one laptop and you need to get some upgrades on your computer because you also want to use it to do some heavy lifting, get an M1 MacBook Air. The processors are identical in performance, and you can spec this up to 16 gigabytes of RAM and get even extra storage, and you'll still be at a very competitive price compared to the M2 MacBook Air. And for any of you guys watching that actually do want to save money and that resonated with you, I have a ton of M1 MacBook Air videos on my channel. This was my favorite laptop of last year, so I'll link them up here in this video for you to check out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Catch all of you in the next one. Peace.